Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you? How are you? We are back. Let me see if I can scoot this back a little bit. Hi. We are back with episode number 65 of the TERRAN Lamp Show. Thank you so much for joining me. It is 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much again for coming back for another episode. Make sure if you have a story, and I know you do, that you get in contact with me. I would love to have you on the show. And make sure if you know someone who has a story, I would love to have them on the show. So let me see, Tanya, I'm going to see if I can get you in here. I don't know if a lot of people listened to my prior video, but when Tanya comes on, I'm going to get my guest on real quick, and then I'm going to give you a synopsis of my prior announcement that I made and what's going on with the show. So let me see if I can get my guest in here. Tanya. Hello, hello. Let's see, Tanya. Hello.
I think I'm here.
How are you?
Hey,
You look great. You said you're going to be casual. You look great.
I am. I got on overalls. I got on working man's clothes.
I have on a tee. So yeah,
All right.
you look great. Okay, so I was telling people real quick before we get started. I think I told you during our conversation. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to my prior video, for those of you who guys are on, one of the things that I wanted to do with the show is make it more philanthropic. Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Somebody. Hi. It's Hi. Bring them on. Stay away. Don't bring them on. All right. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to do with the show is make it more philanthropic. So if you're listening, that's been one of my goals. I could not figure out how to do that. I tossed and turned between creating a 501c3, not creating a 501c3. Kind of to make a long story short, one of the things I do is I give back to cancer patients and heart disease patients because that's been myself, and I really understand their plight with medical bills. So on occasion, I will go pay a bill for a medical, for a cancer or heart disease patient. And I couldn't quite figure out how I was going to do that in this space with the show. So what I've kind of settled on is, again, like I said, I tossed around 501c3 and realized that was just a little less organic than I wanted it to be. I want to be able to go in there directly, do it, hit a patient, and make impact with, of course, abiding by all the legal HIPAA guidelines and keeping under privacy policies, which I respect for myself and others. So what I've decided to do is each show, starting with this one, I am going to pin my Cash App and my Venmo. So if you're listening to the show and if you would like to donate to the cause, please feel free to do so. I am not a 501c3. I'm not fancy. There's nothing fancy about it. It is a Cash App and it's a Venmo. And I understand all the things that come with that with regards to you don't know me from a can of paint. And I get that as well. I will be able to, or I will promise to give that to a patient and then document that somehow. I don't know what that somehow is going to look like because I'm not going to be in the hospital with my phone on live. Again, not respecting patient privacy. So I know that comes with a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but that's what I decided to do. And so I am going to right now, and also just exciting news, I've already got my first donor. So I did, yeah, exactly. So I'm excited. So I'm learning how to do this right now. So I'm learning how to pin stuff. This is my first or my second attempt. So my Cash App is TLamp7, and my Venmo is T-Lamp. And then in the notes, if you could just put for a patient. There we go. Let's see. And bumble, pin comment. All right. So I figured out how to do that. So if you're listening and you'd like to give to a patient in need, just hit the Venmo, hit the Cash App. And then when I go in for my next appointment, I am going to anonymously pay someone's bill. And I'm either going to pay it off if it's right, or I'm going to pay a big portion of it. Whatever we got, I'm going to use for that purpose, to pay a patient's bill, heart disease or cancer patient. That is a dog called Quest in the background, and we and he are going to get started. So if you have any questions on what I just said, I know it was a lot, please feel free to DM me. Otherwise, if you'd like to donate to the cause, please hit up the Cash App and the Venmo in the pinned comments. All righty, Miss Tanya.
Yes.
Darling, look at the tail. That is awesome. Keep it going.
He just got a haircut. He's feeling fierce.
Yes.
Say hi.
All right.
Adia's here, so she wants to say hi too.
Adia, you're going to have to be on the show. We're going to set up a date for you to be on the show. Hello, beautiful. We're going to set up a date.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. We talked about that. All righty, it's Miss Tanya. Well, tell us your journey. Oh, cheers, by the way. Cheers.
Can I? Cheers. I got water.
Yeah, I got that too, just in case. But I'm gonna finish this. All right.
Bye. So, well, you know what? If I can be honest, I when I accepted your invitation to join you on your show, I said, what on God's earth am I even going to talk about? Because I'm not the kind of person who really likes to have a lot of discussion about what I'm doing. I just like to get it done and move in silence. So I'm not big on, I guess, tooting my own horn, or even, you know, not tooting my horn, but just discussing the stuff I do. I just like to do it. And I think that's part of the story that I guess I want to share today. I'm actually like tired today. Not because I'm physically tired, but I'm mentally tired because my brain's always moving, and thinking about ways that I can not only make my life better, but how I can make the lives of the people around me better, my friends, the people that I advocate for on a daily basis, and like the most important is like the kids that I don't say I work for kids anymore because I'm not a teacher anymore, but I indirectly work for kids. All the work that I do is focused on that. And if I were to, you know, pinpoint the point at which these things became important to me, it'd probably take me all the way back to Irvin Elementary School in Maywood, where I you know, first began school, and, you know, thinking about how much teachers poured into me and created the person that you know me to be today. And I actually ran away from education. I did not want to be a teacher. My grandmother had been a teacher for 43 years, and she said, you need to get your teaching license. And I was like, no! But fate sent me back there, and it probably was one of the best things that I ever did, because it, you know, it catapulted me to the space that I'm in now. And so when I started teaching, I just wanted to save everybody, right? I just wanted to fix it. I wanted every kid to have the same educational experience that I had had. But then what happened as time went on, I realized that kids couldn't get what they needed because teachers didn't have the things that they needed. So I became a union activist and started, you know, working on behalf of teachers so that the kids could get what they need. And somebody saw me along the way and said, hey, who's that girl? And pushed me to another space. And I've been doing the advocacy work that I've been doing for the Illinois Federation of Teachers for the last 15 and a half years from that point, because somebody said, who's that girl? But again, it's not been work that I actually intended to do. It's really, this is one of those things that you really feel like you're called to do. Like I feel energized. I felt energized when I was in the classroom. I felt energized making the move out of the classroom. And now I'm starting to think about, you know, what the next moves are for me in this field. So I guess to summarize my story is that I believe that my life was designed to provide service for children, and to make that every Black and brown child that I can touch has an opportunity to have the experiences that I did coming along. And that's it. That's my story in short.
Well, that's a lot, though. I mean, let's unpack that a little bit, right? Because you said to yourself, no way am I going to be a teacher and in education, right? And here we are, years later, a doctor of education. So, back how that went down for you. Like, you said faith, and then you said someone else, said that. But tell me a little bit more about that, experience for you, kind of taking whatever was the leap of faith, as I said earlier about something else I did, or was it a calculated risk, or what did that look like for you? Because I'm not going to do it, and I know you, so I know that you really meant it when you said it. You were not going to do it. So how did we get here? In general, but unpack it a little bit.
Like I know that sometimes the decisions that we make for ourselves are not the decisions that are predestined for us. So if you're a person of faith, then you know that when all the signs say this is the way that you're supposed to go, that you just follow. Or you have to face the repercussions for not doing what you were told that you were supposed to do. So I say that entering the field of education, the doors just opened. I mean, it just opened for me to walk through. It was like effortless. It was like, oh, I'm so happy to be here. There were no roadblocks whatsoever to get there. And I thrived. When I went back and to graduate school, I thrived like I hadn't thrived in years. At Concordia University, of all places, was the first time that I ever had a Black teacher since I had been at urban school. And it was there in that experience that they allowed me to step outside of this box that I had been placed in and think creatively about how I could be impactful, not just for all students, but this program that I was in was specifically for students of color. And I think that, and children that were impoverished. So that experience kind of put me in a space that I felt I was supposed to be in. It wasn't like I never looked to find the cream of the crop school district to go work in. I wanted to work with poor Black and brown kids, and that's where I ended up. And in terms of me going back for the doctorate, I think I started off by saying my brain's always moving. I'm always planning how to get better and how to improve. It is always about self-improvement. And there had been an opportunity maybe about 6 years ago to present at a labor conference. And we were talking about bargaining and tough economic times. And while everybody else talked about finances, I talked about relationship building. And everybody was kind of shocked that I would take that perspective when it's, of course, bargaining is all about money. But I think that, one of the key factors to the success of our schools and our students in those schools are the relationships that teachers have with administrators, the relationships that administrators have with parents. So that sparked my research at that point. I started to look at ways that I could help the members that I was representing build relationships with their administrators so that kids could get what they needed. And the more that I researched, the more that I found that what I was actually looking for was not out there. So I had a study that I could do. And, well, if I'm going to do the study, I might as well write a dissertation. And if I'm going to write a dissertation, I guess I'll get the doctorate. And that's how that all happened.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, right? Because I think that, first of all, LaDonna says, women of faith, I love this, I love it, needed this. Thank you, LaDonna. So, I mean, I just think it's interesting, like you said, when you follow doors that open for you, that you're like, how in the world did this open for me? Not like, how did it open for me? Because if you're a person of faith that it opened for you, but you're like, how is this door even here to begin with? Because this is not even like what I thought I was going to do or what I thought I was going to be. And I think that, especially with getting your doctorate, it's like, not only did you really walk in that space of faith, but that's hard work. You know what I mean? So you had to put the oomph behind it, more than the oomph, whatever that is, behind it. And you were already, you know, by that point, you already had said to yourself, you know, I got this, I'm going to do it. And, you know, I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to make it happen so that you can continue to make a difference. And I think that's what a lot of us are learning, like figuring out what that is that's going to take us to that level of purpose and making a difference, right? Because ultimately, I think a lot of people, that's what we want to do is, you know, purpose and make a difference. What kind of advice would you give someone who, you know, kind of says, I'm not going to do this, and then these things keep happening to where it's leading you down that path? I mean, I'm sure, you know, at some point you could also say, I'm just not doing it, you know, no matter what path opens. What advice would you give to someone? Oh, I think it's frozen. I think you might be frozen, but hopefully you'll come back. Let's see. Let's see. Uh-oh. I think you're frozen. I don't know if I'm frozen or if it's you frozen. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So purpose and make a difference. Exactly, right? Like, what are we doing? So hopefully we'll get Tanya back. I think she cut out, but hopefully we'll get her back. She'll come back in a second. Purpose, making a difference. So if you're just joining, this is episode number 65 of the TERRAN Lamp Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I am here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., interviewing wonderful people, amazing people around me doing amazing things. I just started to share earlier in the show that I put my Cash App and my Venmo. I'm going to start doing that every show. If you feel so inclined and would like to donate to that, the money goes to cancer patients and heart disease patients. We are going to take that money and pay off bills. There is no official 501c3, no official anything. I just am taking my own leap of faith, and I've done that in the past for people on my own free will, and I decided to take this show and try to make it a way to give back as well. So if you do feel so inclined and would like to help us out with that, the Cash App and the Venmo is below, and I will make sure when I go in to pay a bill for a patient that we somehow get that documented according to, of course, I'm going to keep with HIPAA guidelines and privacy guidelines, but I will let you know when we do that if you would like to donate. So where did Tanya go? Let's see if she's back. I don't know. Maybe she got disconnected. I'm going to just keep talking here for a little bit, and hopefully she will come back in. But so that is what the show, so the show, if you haven't tuned in before, is about positivity. It's about love. I used to share my story all the time, and I realized that people around me have a great story. There's a lot of people just like you with amazing stories. That was the original name of the show until I turned it into the TERRAN Lamp Show, because I realized that was my brand. So I decided to do the TERRAN Lamp Show. And here we are. We have been going strong for, this is our 65th episode. So episode number 65 of the TERRAN Lamp Show. And we are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, interviewing people with amazing stories. We were interviewing Tanya. I hope she comes back on. I don't know if it was her connection or mine. But if you guys are still on, and let me know, could you hear me okay? Or was it, what was happening? Maybe you guys can tell me if it was her freezing, me freezing, what was going on. So hopefully she'll be able to request back on. But again, this is, episode number 65. If you have a story and you're listening, I would love to have you on the show. Make sure you get a hold of me in my private message. I would love to have you on the show. If you know someone who has a story, please make sure they get a hold of me. Private message us together. And I would love to have them on the show. This show works by, I want to take a breath, by word of mouth and by volunteer. Everyone comes on their own free will. And oh yeah, here's Tanya, she's back. So everyone comes on their own free will and their own free time. So again, the TERRAN Lamp Show, episode number 65. Let's get Tanya back on. Tanya, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let's see. I'm pushing accept. Request to join, accept. Let's see, invite to join, invite. So I invited you, Tanya, and now I think you're.
All right.
Good grief, girl. This is not trying to let me be
What
great.
happened?
I don't know. I just had to get my iPad out and try from there. It said you weren't live anymore, and I just had to come back. So I'm here
Oh,
now.
okay. So we were giving advice. You were about to give us advice.
Okay.
On
So I think you. I'm glad you remember. Oh, I didn't notice your hair was so cute and blonde.
thanks. It's my vacation hair.
It's cute. Okay. So advice. I think if I had to give one word of advice, it would be to um, release the limits that you set for yourself.
Mm.
I think that I have a lot of friends that have a lot of talents, and some of them are utilized and some are underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are underutilized in their talents, the only roadblock that's in their way is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to learn to get out of our own way and just, I mean, take a real leap of faith and just do it. So I think if that were the one that if that were the one thing that I would encourage people to do, that would be it. And the other one, as I think about it, is like don't be afraid to dream. You know, I didn't I don't need a doctorate for what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a little girl, my dad was calling me, he's been calling me Dr. Tanya since I was a little girl.
Mm.
And I always say that when people tell me things about myself or they speak life into me in that way, I'm stupid enough to believe it. And that drives me to go and get that thing that someone
Mm-hmm.
says I should do or have or be. So don't be afraid to, you know, believe that dream that somebody set out there for you. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine maybe about a month and a half ago. I hadn't seen him in some time, and I said to him, I just thanked him, and I said, he spoke life into me as a freshman in college. Like, you don't even recognize who you are. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, whoa, I'm somebody. I mean, I like, you know that you're somebody, but when other people see things in you, sometimes people see things in you that you haven't seen in yourself yet. And it's like, I dare you to believe what somebody else says and be that thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
go get it.
So don't be afraid to dream and take away those limits from yourself. I
Yeah.
know it's so challenging, right? Like it's so hard to take because we are in our own way the most of the time,
Right.
right? We get so much and in our own way. And then I think the afraid to dream part is just sometimes it's also like, you know, we both speak of faith, right? So it's like dream, but then you have to take action on that dream, right?
Absolutely.
And that is also very, very hard. I was just having the conversation earlier today with myself saying, you know, what people are going to think and what are they going to do and, you know, all this other stuff. And that can take away from the dream that you have, right? Because you're
Right.
so self, you know, with self-doubt and even though others are looking at you saying you're, you know, Tanya, you're amazing, you can always find 1,000 reasons that would hold you back if you let it.
Yeah, I'm the queen of finding the flaws in myself. So I
Yeah, but I think it's good that you're realizing, like, and we're all realizing, right, that we need to get over those, and you know that's what's going to keep us towards our purpose and keep us that intersection of purpose and passion, and so keep
sure.
us, you know, driving forward. What are, I mean, I know that you mentioned getting through those obstacles, but what would you say are some of the, you know, the obstacles you've had along the way that you've had to get over? We talked about some self-doubt. Anything else that you would say has been like, you know, what, you know, it's been kind of tough for you to navigate, or you could see someone to navigate?
So you know what I learned very early on, probably when I was in undergrad, is that it's important to choose wisely the people who you invite into your circle.
Mm.
And if you know, like, what do they say? Eagles don't fly with
Yeah,
pigeons, or you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I'm not sure if that was the terminology, but
I
something
know
like
the
that.
other one. If you hang around with 9 broke people, you're about to be the 10th. I mean,
Right.
that isn't
Something
as,
like
you know,
that.
as
Um,
you know.
so okay, this is if my mother were here, she'd say that I tell too much of my business, but that's what I do, right? Like you have a testimony to share with people you don't know who it's going to touch. I believe in counseling. And when I was 21 years old, I felt like I was imbalanced. Like I had this party girl side of me, and then I have this side that was real intellectual and very structured. And I had to take a class called Intro to Counseling and something. I can't remember what it was. But we had to like go to counseling and pretend we were sitting in this mock session. And I said, hey, I really need this. Let me talk to this dude for real. And what I learned when I came out of those counseling sessions was that my life was imbalanced because I was literally living a dual life, like trying to balance the social part of my life and this academic that I was too. So what I ended up doing was whittling away all of the extra people and finding a core group of friends who have been there for the last 30 plus years. And it's a small circle. It's not a big one. It's a small circle of folks. So I think that's been that learning that early on is what helped me, because when I didn't have that, I had no focus, and my direction was off.
I think it's important to have, and I think of it too, you know, I feel like the same thing. It's like I have this small core group, and you know, I think that's important to have. And like I said, I didn't say it as fancy, but yeah, if you hang around 9 broke people, you're about to be the 10th. So. That came from another somewhere, you know. I think it is right. You know, you have to watch your circle. I don't know if, you know, everybody's for the keep it small circle. You just kind of have to watch, right? And because sometimes when things get too big, then you get too many, almost like they say, too many cooks in the kitchen, or whatever that saying is. And what to do and when to do it and how to do it, and you're not getting anything done.
Right.
You know, so many things going on and so many people telling you you're right, wrong, and indifferent. What does the future hold for you?
In my mind, it holds retirement.
Yes, I know.
I'm thinking about what am I going to do for me, like really do for me next. But I don't know. It looks like probably consulting, because I still feel like there's work to be done in the area of building relationships between administrators and teachers. So I think in my next life, I want to do some consulting. Maybe even, I could even see myself, I've been thinking about going back to school. Can you believe that? I could even see myself instructing administrators or aspiring administrators when it comes to that relation. That I just see how unhinged that piece of education is right now, and before I leave here, that's my aim, is to try to fix that. So I'm somewhere in between an island and a classroom.
Another PhD. Right? Yeah.
I'm somewhere in that space and writing a book in between.
An island and a doctorate. You go back and forth every day.
Right.
Every day is different. Right. Well, you could actually get your doctorate on the island. So
I could, virtually, right.
Yeah, nowadays, I mean, things have opened up, and then you could do your consulting from that same island.
Right. I can still do it all. TERRAN, thank you.
I think in 30 minutes we have solved your next life.
Yeah, but that is the struggle. I mean, every day I start thinking about, okay, I'm tired and I really would like to just live out the rest of my life having fun. But this is fun too, right? So I'm somewhere stuck between the two. I know that I want to be able to make the decision to do either.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years.
I'm trying to wave at some people. I'm trying to use my Instagram properly. Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to wave?
Wait, you can wave at people? Wait.
Does yours have wave on your side?
No, I don't see wave.
I'm learning, like I said, how to work. Yeah, I mean, I just think, to your point, I mean, I totally get it, because you're not going to, I mean, again, just knowing what I know of you, you're not going to stop, right? You're not going to just like I mean, the island sounds good, but you'll only be on the island like 10 minutes and you're like, I gotta go. You know? I mean, you gotta figure out something to do, you know,
Right.
island. And I think what's cool about it is, you know, is that you have found what you want to do, right? You found your purpose. You found where, I always say kind of where purpose and passion kind of, it's well, is it purpose and passion, or passion and just, you know, whatever, intersect and become your purpose, right? You're skilled to do, and it's your passion as well. I don't know, but you're back.
Okay.
Your little thing was running around, but you're back. I mean, I think that's cool. And I think that, you know, I think education is something, I mean, I'm learning through you, like the different, like you said about the relationships. I would have never in a million years even thought of that. I mean, but clearly, you know, and it's out there and you have to figure out how to solve that problem.
Right.
Because I just think of, you know, when I think about education, I just think it goes, right? Like we're just here, we're just in it. But there's probably a hamster wheel behind it that needs to make sure it runs properly.
Right.
And so appreciating people like you to go into and seek and help out with higher education. I've myself never read again, so I'm amazed. I'm happy that there's someone out there like you that will read again, because I'm never studying again. But you know, I'm happy that you are, and taking the system by storm. So any final thoughts? Final thoughts. We're a little over, guys. That's okay, because we got a little disconnected. So final thoughts.
I have my final thoughts in my head now. I'm the dog's playing with this toy in the background, and I don't know how loud it is.
My dog has his own. He's coming on the show.
Yeah. My final thoughts. I guess, I don't know. I just want to encourage people to just don't have any fear when it comes to doing that which you believe you're called to do. And if you haven't found your purpose in life, it's never too late to find it. It does take, though, a little bit of introspection. And I think that is probably one of the things that I've learned to do best in my life, is to really reflect on, you know, where I've been, you know, what I did wrong there, and how I can be better going forward. I think that there's always an opportunity to be your best self. Tomorrow is always a new day. So don't let what happened today stop you from moving forward to become somebody better or different than you were the day before.
Right. It's always like a new hour. I mean, you know, you can start over at any given time. Just a snap of the hand, you can change your day.
Right.
That's, you know, so important, because you could go like this, let me just speak for myself. I can go like this, you know, any given Sunday, as they say.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you. I mean, I always, you know, I said at the beginning of the show, or at some point during the show, you know, this is all, everybody comes on the show for volunteer. I want to thank you for volunteering your time and your talents. I mean, I know we do get a chance to see each other and, you know, and share and hug and all that. But in all seriousness, I always like to thank each and every one of my guests, because no one has to do this. Everyone comes on at their free will and their time, and shares of their talent and their time and their positivity. And I'm just so blessed to have, you know, people like you in my life that study and and do major important things. So, you know, thank you for everything. And for those who are still tuning in with us, please make sure you take a look at this whole video. If you haven't had a chance to, take a look at the prior videos on my IGTV. This is the TERRAN Lamp Show, episode number 65. I can't believe it, 65. And again, we have started something new. As Tanya says, I shouldn't be afraid to dream. So I had this dream that I was waffling back and forth with for months, about how I was going to give back to heart disease and cancer patients, and how I was going to make that happen. And I've settled on something simple as just putting my Venmo and my Cash App in the comment section. I pinned that for those who are still on. And if you have, you know, if you would like to donate to that, feel free. This is not a 501c3. I'm not anything fancy. I'm just one girl who goes to someone in need. And I hope to be able to continue that process and make that happen and broaden who I can pay for through this show, making it a little bit more of a give back, half an hour every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tanya, I will call you in just a second. And this episode will be on my IGTV, YouTube, and Apple Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, be good to yourself and each other. Thank you. So LaDonna says, thank you both. Love you, Tanya. Keep shining, TERRAN. And yeah, I will, and she will.
Thanks, LaDonna.
Thanks, LaDonna. And
All
everyone,
right.
see you back here, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesdays for the TERRAN Lamb Show. Be good to yourself and each other. Bye-bye.